Barry and Chuck are off. John Mooney, Mike Armstrong, Tucker Silva here. And on Wednesdays, we like to feature local businesses. And this is a fascinating one. A guy named John Blake created something called the StudPoP. And it basically finds studs in the wall. And it works. I've tried it. It works brilliantly. John, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Explain what this is. I didn't do it justice. You explain what the StudPoP is.
Well, the concept behind it was to come up with a stud finder that would work without batteries, that would be reliable, that wouldn't give you false positives. In the world of stud finding, people have a love-hate with their stud finders because most of the time they tell you there's a stud and then you go back over it again and it's gone. So it's kind of voodoo and black magic. But I knew when I came up with one, I wanted it to, be fun, which is contrary to anybody who ever talks about finding studs as being fun.
These kinds of studs, right, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other show. But, yeah, I wanted it to be something that would be cool, just something you would want to use, and rather than dreading finding studs, you would kind of look forward to it, and that's how it evolved. And it's been in process for about 8 years.
Now, did you work as a contractor? I mean, is this a case of you saw a need and you wanted to fulfill it?
Necessity is a mother.
The mother of invention, yeah.
So that's how it started. About 2008, I had bought a Black & Decker $50 job, figuring, okay, the more I spend, the better it's going to be. And it was no better than anything else. Mm-hmm. So I really stuck a stake in the ground and said, it's time to invent a better mousetrap. So I told my wife and kids that I was going to come up with something that would work reliably, that wasn't battery operated, that didn't have lights that flashed and whatever. It was just going to be magnetic. And I said, if I can come up with something like that, I'm going to be a millionaire someday.
And so, I mean, clearly engineering background here. The second I heard you talking, I could tell that much. How long have you had this in production, and how did you start out? I mean, how does someone go about figuring out how to produce something like this on a mass scale?
Good question. Initially I set out about 8 years ago to invent something, which I did within 6 months.
Sure.
But it was a garage-looking prototype made out of PVC pipe, and it was pretty ugly. But it was really neat to use, and people that were around me really liked it. And you first of all, have to make sure nobody else has done it, because there's very little things that you can come up with as an idea and find out that there's not somebody else out there that has it. I was lucky in that no one had ever done it before the way I had done it. So I proceeded to try and get somebody to back me, because I had no money, because I was drained from my landlording days. Mm-hmm. I ended up getting approached by Gorilla Glue. Huh. They flew me out to Cincinnati. They were going to market it under their name, and I was going to get 2%, which sounded good, but it dragged on a little too long. I was kind of wishy-washy about the whole thing because I really knew I was going to lose control. So the president of Gorilla Glue told me that you really need to try and do this yourself, John, because nobody has the passion you have.
So you're in Kennebunk. Do you have the production facilities there? How do you actually make this and sell it? Do you sell it retail? Do you sell it online? Both?
Yeah.
How can people get one, and how do you make it? Or where do you make it?
It's made right in Kennebunk, believe it or not.
Okay.
That was an eye-opener for me, because originally the first pass at this was a different product, different name, and that was being made in China. And I had very little control, and it was tough to get the quality right. The communications were terrible. Eventually, I kind of walked away from that and walked away with some money and took that and reinvented it as the StudPoP. And I searched around, but it was definitely going to be a U.S.-made product, no more overseas thing. So turned out, friend of a friend knew of somebody in town who made plastic-injected molded dog toys and shoe parts and whatever, and he made the molds and everything. So I designed everything on the computer with CAD and went to Gary, and Gary was able to cut the molds out of steel, and we make them 5 minutes from my house.
Do you sell them mostly online or in store?
Right now, it's 99% Amazon. Which
how's that worked out for you?
I've sold about 25,000.
Wow. And it's amazing because it's a low-tech device. It doesn't require a battery. You just put it on the wall and it works. It works perfectly. We tried it. How much does it cost?
$9.95.
Not bad.
And how tough is it? I mean, I would imagine the next big step is trying to get that on the shelves in in
like a Home Depot or Lowe's
type of store. How tough is it to get entry into those types of places?
Very.
Yeah.
One of the things that's working against me is the fact that I only have one product or one SKU.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The stores are based on efficiency as far as purchasing.
Would you be interested in taking this to the big boys and sell it to them? Someone buying you out and incorporating this as part of their...
I don't think I'm there yet. I would like to, if anybody's listening who looks it up and they know how to sell things, because I don't think I've really tapped into that market, because you got all kinds of knick-knacky type things at your Cumberland Farms and Irving gas stations and whatever, and this would fit right into that because it's just it's a great point of sale type product, an impulse buy, and it's just been tough to connect with those people. So I rely mainly on free publicity. It's been on DIY Network multiple times, on TV shows. I had a commercial made last year. One of the Shark Tank guys is a spokesman for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's had a lot of good publicity, but pretty much it needs to have somebody who can take it.
How long have you been doing this? This particular product?
This particular product, I hit the market with it exactly 3 years ago.
Okay. So it's fairly new. I mean,
it's relatively new. And it really hit with a bullet. I mean, I had people contacting me. Shark Tank contacted me. Like I said, DIY, HGTV.
Did you do Shark Tank?
I sent them a video, and it didn't really go anywhere. But in reality, at that point, I didn't really need the investments. I just did the video for the sake of having a biography of my life story. But I own everything now. I do everything, all my own marketing. My videos are all mine. And that's kind of the way I like it right now. I like to have the full control. And it's fun. I mean, I get a kick out of reading the reviews because people will say it's the best thing since sliced bread. And there's nothing better than making the next thing since sliced bread as an inventor.
My reaction was when I tried it, I said, why didn't someone else do this? This is so simple. And so it seems obvious you've answered an important need with a simple, effective solution that works.
Yeah, I get a lot of people saying, why didn't I think of that?
We've heard that before on many things that made a lot of money to a lot of people. John Blake, creator of the StudPoP. Thanks a lot. Go to Amazon. Check it out, StudPoP. It's $9.95, and it works. It's really good. John, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, guys. It's been great.
We have a lot more still ahead. Stay with us. You're listening to the Financial Exchange from the InsureMatch.com studios.
You've got Barry Armstrong. It's the Financial Exchange on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.